you're back on the wrestling circuit again. I saw that
Yeah,
started
back on the
again.
wrestling show, and I had a terrible show last night. I
Did
messed
you?
up. I messed up a joke, Dan.
Yeah.
My mic went out, so
Oh.
improvised a little something, something. Where I was like, It doesn't really matter. The show was taking place in my house, and so I was making a joke that my RF frequencies were bad in the house, and I said RV. And just crickets. There's just crickets. And then I did
It's
the
not
thing where I had to
like
replay it in my head.
that RF joke would have like killed in
I
that
would have
audience.
slayed, dude. It was
RF. Whoa, 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 whoa! More radio terms, Mister Cereal.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan,
I'm Tony.
and we're the guys who watch the movies. Movies. Cut it,
Period.
roll it, take it, dig it to print.
It's good. We've been on a lot of movie sets, guys.
I don't think I've been on any.
Can I drink this on? Wait, I mean, no one cares, right?
You mean, will the vitamin water people like sue us because you're drinking vitamin water?
If anything, they should pay. They should
Copyright
sponsor
trademark?
us. Brought to you by Smart Water. Nope, Vitamin Water. I said the wrong product.
Good
We got to
job.
Let's go back to the top.
Uncut that print, unroll it, unprint it. So each week, one of us picks a movie, and then we talk about the movie ad infinitum. This week, it was Tony's turn to pick one of his pick a movie from the entire breadth of
That's right.
of
All I had to
moviedom.
do was pick a movie out of the billions of movies that have been made that would be fun to make fun of. And I picked the most mediocre movie of all time.
It's this movie. It's kind of hard to hate this movie.
It's nothing. It doesn't really try much. It doesn't do a whole lot. It's just kind of there. And
It's another one of
we're
those.
Going to be digging into the depths.
Another one of those two joke comedies where there's like two things that you laugh at. And you're like, oh, I like this part.
Yep.
Then it was gone.
And then that's it. Yeah. I mean, listen, if Jackie's not in the movie, it's unwatchable to me.
Well, it's a different movie if Jackie's not in the movie, and then you try to make a different movie.
Well, there's two movies.
This
is my whole thing of this film. Oh, by the way, so the movie is.
Well, don't tell them.
You guys, we're going to give you context clues, and you got to guess it by the end of the show. The movie is Around the World in 80 Days with Steve Coogan and Jackie Chan. And there's two movies. There's a Steve Coogan awful movie, and then there's a mediocre Jackie Chan movie. And if Jackie's movie's not in this movie, I don't like it. But I can't hate Jackie Chan. I can't do it.
Oh yeah, the thing about this movie is it's not an actual hateable movie.
Yeah,
it's a bad movie. It's a really bad movie. From 2004, 2 hours, PG rated,
too long.
Walt Disney Company.
So when I looked up where I was going to watch this, and it was like Disney Plus, I was very confused. This does not feel Disney.
I really thought I was going to get to Disney Plus, and it was going to be like 20th Century Fox Presents. I really did not think that Disney had produced this movie.
I think that I was going to say I think they want to forget it too, but they put it on their platform.
Well, they don't care about that. That I don't think Disney is the one that tries to bury their movies. Although I've been seeing more and more movies that I go looking for, and like these movies are buried. Like they don't even exist in the world.
Which is a bummer because some of them are probably gems. Not like, oh, this is a great film. But a gem in a way, it's like if you sit down on a Saturday night and you watch this movie with your friends, you're going to have a great time. And they're taking that away from us. One movie at a time.
So, usually what I do is I go to the Wikipedia page, and then, it has the big thing where it's the plot and then the cast. And then you get to the part where it talks about the troubled production, how this producer was working on this and this happened and this happened. Zero. This movie has zero on how this movie came into existence.
That's kind of bizarre because I feel like a lot of money was spent on this. Did you look up the budget?
Oh yeah, it was 118 million, and then it made like 12 million or
Hi.
something.
I mean, listen, that's nothing to sneeze at. Well, I mean, the box office is not good, but that's a decent budget for the time.
A huge budget for this movie.
And the score is great. I just want to put that out there. That's my favorite part of the movie.
Was it really, or are you being
I
facetious?
no, I thought it was really good.
Oh, okay.
It felt like a movie. It was like, oh, this is a grandiose movie, this big swelling score. And I was like, cool, cool. The movie's not there, but if it was a better movie, the score would match it perfectly.
Yeah, a couple times near the end when we got to the emotional moments, I got
Mhm.
drawn in a little. You were like, "I'm
Yep.
getting drawn in," and I guess that's why it was because of the score,
It's yeah, they
not because
put
of anything
something
else.
outside of the film to help draw your attention in.
So basically, the idea is we've taken Around the World in 80 Days, very classic story. Phileas Fogg gets in a bet, has to travel around the world to prove that he knows what he's doing, and generally hasn't ever been out of London, and so that's sort of
Sure.
his burden is to get over being a homebody and actually traveling and seeing the world.
Great. Tough.
Then he has his manservant who's Passepartout, who's generally someone who is very new to the situation, and really is the person that sort of shepherds him through this whole journey.
Sure. Sure.
So in the 50s one, it's Cantinflas, who was a Mexican sort of clown comedian,
Oh, okay.
bullfighter, whatever. And he's great. It's a great movie. David Niven plays Phileas Fogg.
Oh,
Great
cool.
movie, super fun. And this movie sort of follows in the same footsteps where you have a number of cameos of important people that
A
would come in
lot.
and do stuff.
Yeah.
And the 50s one is like 3 hours long, and each
Oh.
sort of section was a set piece, where you
Okay.
really sort of
Okay.
delved. When you got to India, they have to rescue Shirley MacLaine from the slavers. When you get to the Wild West, I think you have Buster Keaton around. You have a train ride with American Indians.
Great. So
Native Amer-
things happened.
Things totally happen.
Wow, what a bizarre notion.
Yeah,
Good for them.
and the guest stars are there to sort of do something or be interesting or be funny for a second.
As opposed to just be a name that you're like, oh, there's Schwarzenegger. Oh, there's
Well,
I
we're going to talk about Schwarzenegger.
Oh, okay, good. Good, good, good.
So then we also have this plot line that the Bank of London had been robbed, or Bank of England, I don't remember. And then so there's sort of a thing where they're being chased by someone.
Yeah.
So in this case, Jackie Chan really does rob the bank and steals this jade Buddha, which he has to
Yep.
take home to protect the prosperity of the village.
Right. So it was stolen from their village, right?
Yeah.
And so he's just returning it, for honor and
No,
stuff.
for the village to have prosperity.
But that village, listen, I don't want to be rude.
Yes, not much in the way of prosperity.
It wasn't doing super great. It's very small.
It's very small.
There's like 20 people in it. I don't know.
And I mean, tipping the bit a bit, when they do get the Buddha back home, it's not like everybody's starving and all the crops have died. And
Nor is anyone all that excited about the Buddha. They're all very excited to see Jackie, but no one's like, "Did you bring it? Did you bring it? Oh, you found it. We're saved." They're just like, "Hey, Jackie's home. High fives." I don't know.
Yes, it's very weird.
Yeah.
So we set it up. He escapes from the bank. He shaves, and so he looks different, even though everyone recognizes him, even though he is shaved.
When it started in that opening scene and he does that little tumble out the window and then he pops up with that beard, I was like, yes, I have never seen Jackie with a beard. I'm ready for a movie with bearded Jackie. 8 seconds later and a carriage ride and it's gone. I don't know how it happened, but I'm upset.
Yeah, it's typically you're able to. There's shaving equipment in most carriages in London, and it's really
no way that's factual, Dan. I don't believe it.
They always stock them with straight razors because the best place to get a shave is on the move in
a cobblestone road, just slitting your own throat.
So he goes over this fence, and there's Steve Coogan, the crazy inventor, who's made this roller coaster machine that's supposed to make a human being go faster than 50 miles an hour. Ugh.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense because there's like, I don't know. Listen, I'm not an inventor, but it literally just looks like a child's amusement park ride that would go maybe 3-4 miles per hour, and you're just kind of doing one of these. But with all the ups and downs, doesn't that slow it down?
That would be moronic to do
Okay.
that. Literally moronic.
If I was,
If you're trying to do,
yeah.
first of all, if you're trying to set a speed record, you go straight because
Okay,
you're
good.
wasting all sorts of
The energy,
energy
yeah,
going
right.
in a circle.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank God.
Yes, and I mean it's just because they were like, how are we going to make this happen in his
In his
front yard?
Yep. We
And
have 12 cubic feet to get this done, guys. Let's put on our thinking caps.
there was a movie called The Great Race, which was from the 50s.
Okay.
I mean, it was from the late 60s, maybe from the early 60s,
It's
and
the olden days.
and they were doing speed record stuff, and
Sure.
the two guys were going back and forth, and at one point the bad guy has this big black boat that has a big rocket engine and it shoots across the lake, and
Right.
and you were like, oh my god,
Yeah.
this is interesting. This thing is like, how can we do this in a front yard and make it really dumb?
Yes. Well, they did it. Check that box off.
And so Jackie has to get into this thing, and he goes the speed, but then he comes off the rail and then shoots down the street and bounces on wires, and it's just so terrible.
So here's where the whole movie falls apart logically for me, Dan. Because in the beginning, Jackie basically flying. The crux of this movie is him inventing a flying machine. He invented a jetpack in the very first instance of this movie. Jackie's flying through the town. He already did it. Mission accomplished, guy.
Slap some wings on him, and
you're good. You're good to go. You're basically Falcon from Winter Soldier.
There it is. Give him a couple of guns, and he can be shooting supervillains.
Ridiculous.
So we set up that if Jackie stays there as his valet, he can test all of his inventions on him, and Jackie kind of has to do it because he has to hide out.
Yeah, from the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we meet the one of the villains of the movie, which is Jim Broadbent as the head of the science community.
Cheers to Jim.
He's so good. He just tries so hard, and he's sort of comedic.
Here's the problem, Dan. Yeah. Nobody showed him footage of the rest of the movie where the scenes that he's not in. And so he's like, oh, this is going to be a good movie. I'm giving some great zingers here. He's got one-liners out the ass in this movie. There's a Salisbury steak joke, Dan. That's great stuff. That's really solid stuff. But no one told him that he's not in a good movie. That's the problem. Poor guy
that directed it is one of the Adam Sandler stable of directors.
So he's just learning his way in this movie. He's figuring it out.
No, he never learned his way. I looked at all the movies he's done.
Do you remember which Adam Sandler movies he did? Probably Little Nicky. Is that bad?
He did he did Click.
I like Click.
Wait, that's
terrible. The TV remote one, right?
Yeah.
Terrible. I mean, it's not very funny, but it makes me cry.
There it is. Tony's crying. So Jim Broadbent throws a bunch of stuff. There's an Asian scorpion lady, and then we sort of hear about the stupid jade Buddha. And then at one point, a knife gets thrown, and it sticks in the crotch of the painting.
Yeah, there's a lot of those gags in this movie that just they feel weird.
A lot of things get stuck in paintings.
Yeah. Which is, listen, those are probably authentic because I don't even know if we've gotten to the point where we're faking those paintings yet. So that's a lot of money we're just throwing away.
So we get a tour of the house. We see his flying machine, and Phileas Fogg talks about how he's going to fly someday, and that's my big thing. And so we're like, okay, that's going to be the big Act 3 thing, is he's going to fly.
Even though Jackie flew 8 minutes ago.
That's very true. So he's like, we have to go to the Royal Academy. Give me my roller skates, which are called something stupid. And then he roller skates, and Jackie has to run behind him.
There's a couple of things that we have to talk about real quick with the inventions in this movie. Because I know they're trying to be like funny and quippy with the inventions. But first of all, At one point, I think it's coming up. They're doing a Slinky,
Oh yeah, Jim
and they're
Broadbent
like,
has
"Yeah,
this
well,
like
we had to institutionalize that guy for coming up with this." What? What? Why? I don't even get the joke. Slinkies are great, and not only that, later in the movie, Broadbent just playing with a Slinky.
still playing with
Everybody
Slinky.
loves the Slinky, but it's the song, isn't it?
Slinky, 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 do some slinkying now. Do it
No, I
now.
don't think that's the right song, Dan. Slinky.
Close.
I don't know. It just feels weird. Like they throw a lot of shade at real inventions. I don't know.
Yeah, if you really tried to analyze the jokes and everything in this movie, you would lose your mind because they just say
Sure.
stuff. Everybody just says stuff. I'm gonna just say stuff. Let's just say stuff. Are we
Except for
saying stuff?
Salisbury steak. That made me laugh really hard.
So we get there. Jim Broadbent mocks him,
Of
and
course.
he's like, "You're so ridiculous, like dinosaurs and radios and
And evolution.
telephones." Yes, like
That's so
you're
good.
so dumb. Here's real things that I think are
Uh,
not real things. You're dumb, and I'm actually the dumb one. So he
so
sort of sets up that I think he's like, we mentioned traveling the world, and then Phileas is like, I did a calculation that it will take 80 days. And so Jim Broadbent's like, okay, dude, you're on.
do it. Go do
Do
it.
it. If you win, um, you can have my job. If I
Which
win,
is ridiculous because it doesn't seem like he has good standing in the science community to begin with.
oh no, he does, because all
No,
the old
Jim.
guys. Oh
Jim does.
yeah.
Broadbent. I'm talking about Coogan.
Oh yeah.
He's like the laughing stock of the science community. So that's like a huge jump.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Nobody would make that bet.
I don't know. I mean, if you're sort of sick of Phileas
Of your
Fogg,
job? Oh, of him. Okay.
yeah, you're
I
like, because
thought
he's
maybe Jim
got to
Broadbent's like, I want to retire anyhow. I don't like this job.
he's got to go away then, and you'll never see him again. I don't know.
No,
So the
you
wager
don't.
is on. Then we have a whole thing with Steve Coogan in a tub.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about these actors real quick.
Talking about the actors.
Not in like a person. I mean, Coogan's awful in this movie. I'm just gonna say it right now. But here's the thing with Jackie Chan movies: to make them work, yes, he can be comedic relief, like he does that, but he needs something to play off of.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie can't do it alone, and I don't mean that in a negative way.
Yeah,
but there's nothing here. All of the best Jackie movies, in my opinion, Americanized Jackie movies, right? He's got like a comedic like Tucker, great. Owen Wilson, great. He has to have somebody making jokes that he can like jump on with. Otherwise, it doesn't feel right. And Coogan is funny, not in this movie,
no,
but he needs to be. He needs to be like affable and kind of making jokes, maybe sarcastic. I don't know, something, but he's just blah.
Hold that thought, because we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
So we'll talk about contextually why this movie doesn't work because of that exact reason.
Oh, great.
So Coogan has this incredible steam carriage, steam on the back, has this fan on the front. We see this and we're like, oh, he's gonna do the first part of the trip in this really cool machine, and it's gonna do some stuff. And first of all, he was just driving down to get on the boat. First of all, he wasn't even going somewhere any distance.
That's just his regular travel car thing.
And I mean, if you had this Marvel and you drove around in the city, everyone would be like, this guy's a genius. This guy, the kids would be following him. They'd 100%. Be like, who is this guy?
Because they're fun inventions too. They're not just like science-y. They're also like, ooh, kooky and fun.
Yeah, making noises and doing stuff. This thing drives for 6 feet and then crashes and explodes into 1,000 pieces.
Yep. Yeah, sure does.
They made this giant working prop to drive it and have it crash and not even show the crash, just like
it's not even like a visual gag. It's nothing.
It's just gone. It's just like done with this. Over.
See you later.
And this is when we meet Mr. Fix, who's a cop, who's sort of another one of the villains. And this poor guy who's playing him is playing this role so broad, even broader
Oh,
than
yeah.
Coogan is playing. And every time he comes on screen, you just want him to leave screen. It's so horrible.
This poor guy. I just roll my eyes. I don't know if I want him to leave because he, at least he's trying something.
He tries so hard.
He's going for it. Yeah, this is his moment. This is his Eminem moment. He's trying to prove that he is a comedic genius, Dan, and he's got to push.
So they steal the cop's carriage, and then we just cut to France. They've stolen a cop car, gotten on a boat. The boat has then left with no repercussions. The boat has traveled an infinite amount of time. They've gotten off the boat, and now they're in Paris, France.
There's a lot of weird time jumps that a lot of things are happening off screen in this movie that we just kind of don't deal with.
So we end up, Jackie's trying to distract Fogg for some unknowable reason. And so he takes him to an impressionist painting salon. And he promises him that Edison is going to be there for no reason and no understanding, and there's no reason for them to be at this place.
I don't even remember that setup. I only remember them going in and there being a good joke in there.
He saw a poster with a light bulb on it, and then he was all like, "Oh, I'll tell him Edison is at this place that we don't need to go to for any reason.
Right.
Then we will go there." And then we meet the lady who's going to come along for the ride. Right. She is exhibiting. She is a painter, but really she's the hat check girl.
Yep.
And she is exhibiting what is literally the most hideous painting that has ever existed on the planet. And they paid someone to make this painting, and whoever they paid to make this painting should have to give that money back and stop painting forever.
I think they probably did, Dan. I think this was their one and done, They burnt out too quickly.
It was like this. It was like a naked picture of a man flying, and it was like supposed to be impressionistic, but it was just like a bad acrylic painting that someone did.
It's not very impressionistic. Like, it's pretty much, you can tell like what it is. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's made by someone with no artistic skill whatsoever.
Well, I mean, listen, Dan, if we did a movie and you were like, we need a painting, and I did the painting, it would be on this level.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty bad.
If you had the $10,000 or whatever they spent to make this painting, you could just hire someone to do a faux impressionistic painting that has the same situation.
I'll pocket that money, Dan, and I'll just do it myself. That's probably what happened.
Have your dog do it. Yes.
We have an art budget, guys. Okay, I'll get somebody. Slips it right in his back pocket.
So in this place, these 5 guys come and attack Jackie Chan. And so we have, in one room, we have Steve Coogan talking to this stupid woman. And then in the other room, we have this gigantic, incredibly loud fight that no one hears and no one has any connection to.
Nope.
And then these 2 scenes, we cut back and forth between them. And that's exactly what you were talking about. The 2 movies were in this same scene, and the 2 movies never talk to each other.
They never connected. They never overlap. They're very separate.
We really expected at one point for Jackie Chan to come in that room and for stuff to start happening where the 2 things, he's like, they try and hit him with a paintbrush and he goes, whoop. And then he's like, says something, oh, no paintbrush here. And, I'm just spitballing this.
This is exactly right. This is what we all were hoping to.
And he keeps on excusing what's happening to try to keep the situation rolling.
That's what he needs to pop in, make a joke and an excuse, and then pop back out, kick some ass.
Yes. Never happens.
Never at all.
Oh, there's another room making dinner. That's why I'm covered in paint. Bye-bye. Yeah. He's gone. So you say there was a joke in here that you liked.
There's a joke. At one point, I don't remember who says it, but he's like, it's a bunch of amateurs in here. Something like that. And then it cuts to Van Gogh painting Starry Night. And I was like, okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
So this whole fight occurs, and then they're running away, and they walk over to this painting on the wall, and they open a door in the painting, and it's a door, and they go through it, and then they close it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, well, I like because then Coogan pops his head out and looks at it, and then goes back in. It's like, okay, good. You acknowledged it's good.
Yeah.
Decent bit.
So
Terrible scene.
so Tony, they go
Yes.
out this painting somehow. Not sure how any character in the
Yep.
scene knew this was where
And
where
they
where
go
did they come out,
into the
Tony?
sewer.
Well, no,
Is it not a sewer?
they then come out of the sewer.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we're assuming they went in the sewer.
It's a secret door to the sewer, just like all great paintings, Dan.
Oh,
Behind every great painting is a river of sludge.
ground level building, door into sewer.
That's right. It's probably like a cool slide that you go down. And you're like, whoa, down into the sewer.
So then they see a balloon in the middle of the park because it's one of the big Paris parks, and so they run over there and they get in the balloon, and then a woman steals the bag that has all the money. Then Jackie Chan has to jump out of the balloon and then fight the woman, and then
The
there's some
woman,
fighting.
I laughed something here too.
She's
Oh,
a
she
biter.
bites him. But it's Jackie's reaction to the biting that made me laugh. He smiles. Like she's biting and he goes, ah. Like he kind of likes it. And I was like, I don't think that's scripted. I think Jackie's just having a good time.
I think that's a Chinese movie kind of thing.
Okay.
Where like something happens and you have to make a big reaction. His big reaction is it's not. There's no reality involved in what's going on.
It makes me laugh for all the wrong reasons. But like,
yes.
I find Jackie Chan so charming that he could do anything and I would still love him.
Oh yeah.
Man.
So then he's got the balloon's going and he's got to chase the rope through town. Goes over this fence. Now the old lady's still chasing them, and she jumps over the wall and then face plants into the ground.
Like hard. She's fucking dead, dude. I mean, I know that they show her get up, but no, she's dead. That's her ghost getting out the ground. She jumps over this like 8-foot fence and face plants on cobblestone road. She lost all her teeth. She like broke her cheekbone. It is grotesque. And they just play it off as a joke. And it's a very strange moment.
Very strange. I like that. That was funny. And then he's getting pulled up this thing. And then he looks in the window and there's like a woman sleeping and her baby's on fire. So she has to jump in there and save the baby. And the mom was played by the musician Macy Gray.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah. That didn't even register at all for me.
I looked at it, I was like, is that Macy Gray? And then I looked in the cast list, it was Macy Gray.
That's unbelievable. What a weird cameo.
He finally jumps out another window, catches it, and then there's this big statue. And then the statue, of course, he catches on the hand and the hand pulls off his pants because, of course, it pulls off his pants.
Hilarious. Hilarity.
This is the second instance of the world's worst prop making ever. The statue is so hideous. Its face is so hideous.
I thought for sure it had to be a real statue, Dan. Is it
no,
not?
No.
Because I was like, there's no way that somebody designed a movie.
Yes.
And this is what they came up with.
Yes, they paid someone for that statue. That is not based on anything real.
No, this is a famous statue that everyone makes fun of, for sure.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh, so terrible.
Oh my god.
So now, of course, we fly away in a balloon, and so we cut to them on the train.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't want to deal too much with the air travel, right? Because we don't want to tip the bit for the end.
Yes.
Let's cut to ground travel after the balloon. Come on, guys.
So we're on a train now, and the woman has to explain why she's come with them. She wants to live life experience, so she's just going to glom onto them.
Yeah, I didn't buy any of it. Like her, I don't know. And I wish that I had like researched this a little bit, but I can't remember another movie where the female lead forces herself into a situation in which she is then basically useless.
I'm going to explain that to you, and I'm going to tell you how and why how you do this and how you make it work. You make her make her a reporter.
Great.
In the new Around the World in 80 Days that they're doing with David Tennant. She's a reporter in The Great Race.
Okay,
Natalie
so
Wood's character
Dan,
is a
let me
reporter, and
just
so
say that,
they're always trying to get rid of her, because she's a reporter.
which makes perfect sense.
But hold on, and she also has access to money, which
Of
they
course,
always need money. It's you make them
they
need
do.
money, so it's this constant wonderful push and pull. She's just like, I can maybe make the train go faster by being whorish.
Do you think that's what happened? Because I think that's what happened.
Wait, what happened?
When she made the train go faster, she disappears for like a minute and she
And
comes
has
back and the train's faster and they're like laughing and following her back. And yeah, no, something nefarious happened.
no, I don't think it was something nefarious. I think it's something sexual
I don't know
happened.
if I know what nefarious means
Nefarious is what villains do.
because we're saying the same thing. I thought, oh, okay,
So
interesting.
if
Okay.
I'm running you through the sawmill to cut you in half, that's nefarious.
I thought,
Nefarious.
I always just kind of thought nefarious was like, ooh, tawdry. I don't know. I was way off.
No, not at
I've
all.
been misusing
Absolutely
that
not.
my entire life, Dan.
I think you might also be getting a little confused with notorious. No, no, no,
Notorious.
notorious. Notorious means sort of
Nefarious.
like notorious is sort of
Well,
scandalous.
it's the B.I.G. He was a rap artist, Notorious B.I.G. Come on, Dan.
Oh, good
What
one.
am I talking to nobody here?
You mean Biggie?
Yeah, Biggie
I call him
Smalls.
I call him Biggie.
Oh, because you guys were tight. Yeah, I
Tight.
forgot. I forgot.
Okay, so on the train we have Fix appears again. Somehow he's on this train, and we have this weird fight with him and Jackie, and then Jackie like throws him out the window without his shoes, right?
100%. Well, because he's falling out the window. Jackie grabs his legs. He starts slipping, grabs his shoes. Boop, they come off. The guy tumbles out He's dead. It's a moving train. He's dead.
It's moving very quickly, also.
Yeah, it's not like
because
they're not slow. They're not stopping. He's dead.
Because she's provided sexual favors to the guy that yeah. So what do we do now? That's the other thing they do in this movie is sometimes when we're doing these transitions, we go to these sort of map things, and then there's like purple smoke and
magic sky, right? It's a magic. I don't know what's happening, but I kept waiting for magic to happen in the movie because they zoom out and it's like, oh, what a magical world, and then we're just back to reality, and it doesn't match at all.
So boom, we're in Turkey now.
All right, great. I love Turkey.
And these guys come and they're like, our boss says you got to come and have dinner with us. How these people would know anything about him or who he is?
They are world famous. I think you're forgetting about the international news channel back in the day.
INN.
That's what it is. Yeah.
The radio.
Yeah, or Morse code. They're just like boop, boop, doop, 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 doop.
They probably had Morse code at this point, and they probably did link places together. And I mean, once again, that's why you make the woman a news reporter, because then at each different place she files a story, and more and more people know about what's going on. There's no reason for anyone to know this story is happening.
Everybody knows.
By the end, everybody in New York City knows what's going on.
And then they all come down to greet him. We'll get there. Bizarre.
So we find out that so they go there, they go to the place, and there's the Sultan or whatever he is, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. And Arnold is so bad.
Well, it's Arnold. I mean, you don't hire Arnold because you're like, oh, this guy's gonna do a great character work here.
He's leering and creepy and horrible, and his whole they go in a hot tub, and then his whole thing is this random woman who means nothing, a hat check girl that's just randomly traveling with the guy that he made come to his place for an unknowable reason, has to now stay and be his seventh wife based on nothing. Maybe actually, I take it back. You know what happened?
I don't.
He heard from the train guys. The train guys stopped, and they were all like, "This is it. She's the girl.
You're gonna want to keep her around, guy." Oh my gosh.
She can make the train go faster.
That's a euphemism right there. I like that. Good golly.
Phileas now loves her. He looks over at her and he loves her.
Yeah, I think I missed the relationship building. I don't
Yeah.
know when it happened, but I missed it.
Well, this is, and they're in the hot tub and he looks at her.
No, that's
Oh,
not
no, he
building, Dan.
sorry, he looked at her sexy legs at one point.
Oh, that'll do it. Yep.
He did look at her sexy legs that one time, and she had very sexy legs.
So
in
you're
like,
all Dan's in love too,
Fred
guys.
stockings,
Hook, line, and sinker.
sexy legs. I would now kill Arnold Schwarzenegger to save her.
Or at least destroy his statue.
Yeah. Yeah. So they do something. He's like, you can leave, but I'm keeping her. They run away, and then there's like this statue of him made by Auguste Rodin as the thinker, and then they're like, we're gonna break your statue unless you let her go, and he lets her go, and then the statue just breaks. Tony.
Yeah, he somehow pulls the arm off, right? Like, isn't that what happens? He just pulls the arm off a fucking like marble statue.
It's not a marble statue.
Oh, what is it?
It's probably a bronze statue.
Is that better? That doesn't sound better. That
Okay, we're gonna go really slow right now. Tony.
Okay.
What is marble? What is marble?
It's they're little balls that you throw at each other and knock them around.
What is marble, Tony?
Please. Some sort of rock.
Rock, got it. What is bronze?
Some sort of metal.
Metal, rock, and metal. Good.
But it's third
that's
place.
Enough. That's all I'm asking you. I just got to determine that you got rock and you got metal.
If I was doing the Olympics, I would go bronze, silver, marble. Okay, because marble's so much better.
That's okay. So how do you make a statue out of stone?
King. I what is the I chisel it. I chisel it.
And how do you make one out of
my spike?
Out of bronze and metal? How do you make a statue?
I believe I smelt it.
Typically, you mold it. Yes.
Mold. Well, you have to do that with the flames. Yes.
With the flames,
like a blowtorch. I put on my mask, light it up.
No, but with this,
what do you mean,
you're close enough on the other stuff. No, you don't use a blowtorch. That's like acetylene. That's a very current thing. That's not how they did it back
okay,
then.
I see.
Okay,
I see.
but we got the situation.
I got the gist.
If it's stone or metal, should the arm just pop off?
No, neither. Maybe a paper mache.
Well, I was going to go with chocolate.
Oh God, that would be great if that was a giant chocolate.
It acted like it was made out of chocolate. It falls down and breaks into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, bizarre. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And then here's what's confusing, Dan, to me at least. Let's say I buy that he tears off the arm on accident and then it falls and shatters.
Yeah.
Then he should not be able to, the very next scene, put it through a door handle and it withstand a bombarding from gentlemen on the other side. It should break like a twig. They should be out in a second. They'd be like, oh, I think oh, never mind. I got the door open. No problem. Ridiculous.
So now we're in India on another train. Jackie's talking to kids. They're soldiers. And then they dress like ladies for some reason. Why did they dress like ladies? I don't remember.
I think just to like make some inappropriate jokes. I'm pretty sure.
They dress like ladies. So the rest of the time, Steve Coogan can keep bringing up that he dressed like a lady and how he kind of liked it.
Yeah, he kind of liked it. And then at the end, one guy's like horrified by it and the other guy smiles by it. You know, just great jokes. Great jokes. Really good stuff.
I guess we have Fix versus Phineas. Then we have Jackie versus a big guy. And then somebody gets handcuffed. And then somebody has to fight a lady.
Did this all happen in the train?
No, this happened in India. They get off the train. They dress like ladies and running through the streets of India.
Yeah, I remember that part. I don't remember the fight. Weird.
They get handcuffed. There's a really big guy and somebody gets handcuffed.
Okay.
To Fix or something. I don't know. Bunch of fighting. It's a whole bunch of fighting.
Yeah, I mean, listen. The fighting is what keeps me entertained from the weird chunks of nothing.
Yeah.
So
then we're in the Himalayas. Then I guess we're in China, and then they're just in an ox cart, and they've arrived at his village.
Yeah,
Boom.
I mean, Here's the thing. I don't understand geography.
Yeah,
I feel like I think a lot of Americans can be on my side is that
sure,
we don't know a whole lot about the world.
absolutely.
We're very sheltered. We're very stupid. This movie doesn't help me understand it at all. I don't understand the time it takes to get to any of these places. It feels like they're all next door to each other, which I don't totally understand. I don't get anything. This has made me even more confused than I already was about the world.
Well, I'm going to tell you something about
Okay, tell me.
if you're trying to circumnavigate the globe.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
What you're never going to do is go as far inland as possible.
I did.
You're going to want to stick to the coast. You're going to want to be on boats because boats are very fast.
Great, yeah, and boats get you over bodies of water, which I think that there are some in the world. I don't know it for sure based on this movie, but I feel pretty sure.
Other than the last thing, I don't think we ever see them actually on a boat, do we?
No, for sure not. Well, the first boat, right? He takes a boat in the beginning and then a boat in the end, right?
Well, they say he's going to take a boat. We never see.
That's true. They don't go on them. You're right about that. Maybe he changes his mind. He's like, you know what? No boats.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question, Tony.
I love this.
How far do you think you're going to get across China in an ox cart going?
I guess
less
thing.
Less than walking.
Yeah, not only am I going to get all the way, but it'll take 4 days, give or take.
China.
Yeah, it's pretty small, right?
So you think? Let me ask you this question. Here you are, Tony. You're living in Los Angeles adjacent. You got your ox cart.
Yep.
And you and your wife are going to travel via ox cart back to your homeland, your hometown for Christmas.
To Minnesota.
How long?
Los Angeles to Minnesota, conservatively 18 hours in an ox cart.
18 hours.
I'm pretty sure. I think, and that's stopping for meals. Okay, I'm going to stop for a nice 3-course meal along the way. Okay,
just one.
Yeah, one meal, one sleep. About a 4-hour sleep in there.
You can sleep in the ox cart.
I don't know. It's pretty bumpy. I don't know if I can sleep like this.
How many miles is it from here to Minnesota?
42.
42 miles.
4,200. How about that?
I have no idea.
I don't even know how many miles it is from me to you. I know that it takes me about an hour to an hour and a half to get to you. I have no concept of how many miles it is to get to you. 11? 40? I don't know. I don't know. Because here's the problem. If I was traveling 60 miles per hour and it took me an hour and a half, I can figure that out. But I'm going a variable speed the whole way. I have no idea how far you are based on a mileage. All right. How big is the United States? 1,000? Couple thousand? 100,000? I don't know, man. You're not giving me any answers, Dan.
This is my favorite bit we've ever done on the show.
Mr. Smarty Pants, how many miles is it from here to Minnesota? Give me the answer. I'm going to Google it. You give me the answer.
It's probably about 1,500 is my guess.
1,500 coming in.
That'd be my guess. That'd be my guess. I don't know, but that'd be my guess.
That's actually not bad. It's 1,892. So we were both very close.
In fact, we were both very close. So if you go to ox cart and you're going 3 miles an hour and it's 1,800, that's 600 hours.
That can't be right, Dan. There's no way that's right. I saw this movie.
It would take 150 days.
So I would miss what you're telling me is I would miss my 80-day mark.
In a perfect world where there's no mountains, no inclement weather.
It's just straight. Yeah, we're just going straight the whole way, no stopping.
And no stopping. People are waiting there to hand you water and hand you food.
Well, we get Postmates delivered on a different cart. They just drive up next to us.
A faster cart. Postmate faster cart. Get you what you need.
Well, they're on a horse cart, right? So we're on an ox cart. They're on a horse going a little bit faster. And they're giving me my burgers.
Oh my God. Okay. So they get to the village. Jackie returns the thing, puts it in there, talks to this guy in a cloak who I thought was going to be a bad guy. Did you think that guy was going to be a bad guy?
He seemed nefarious.
He seemed very nefarious.
Yeah. No, but
juice.
not at all, turns out.
Not at all. And was he the guy that came out later and was like, seemed like his brother or cousin or whatever?
Oh, I honestly didn't even think about that. It probably is. Because he just, as far as I know, he just disappeared. So it would make more sense if he came back and it was somebody different.
So now his mom or his grandma just does everything in her power to get Phileas drunk.
Yeah, I don't know why.
For some unknowable reason.
I thought she was going to seduce him at one point.
So he wanders off into a room, and there he sees photos and finally puts it together that this is Jackie's village.
Which is, I mean, the guy's pretty dumb.
Pretty stupid.
Pretty dumb.
And so we find out that Jackie's real name is Zhao Xing, and Steve Coogan, Phileas feels betrayed and then says a bunch of mean stuff.
Here's my problem, Dan.
Here comes the problem.
He comes out and he's like, "You used me."
Yep.
But that's what he's doing to Jackie.
Well, he's a British imperialist. They're used to using everybody.
Oh, okay. So they don't like it when the tables are turned. I see.
It's like if you asked us about our white privilege 10 years ago, we'd be like, well, of course we should be making more money than everyone because we're white men.
And that was 10 years ago?
Well,
that's not now.
1 year ago.
I don't know if I believe that, Dan. not from you. I mean,
I deserve my white money.
Yeah, like I still hear that with plenty. Bunch of dum-dums out there, guys.
So yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's the turn. The only problem with it is we're only 1 hour into the movie, or we're not even 1 hour into the movie, and this is actually the big turn, is where he feels betrayed.
Here's what I'll tell you: is I was hopeful
that it was ending,
that it was the wrap up of the movie, because I mean, the Buddha's returned. We're going to have our big emotional climax, and then they're going to wrap it up nicely in about 15 to 20 minutes.
This is not the case.
It's barely the halfway point.
Barely the halfway point. So the big evil warlord captures them, and they put them in these boxes, and then
another joke coming up.
Mr. Grumpy Pants and the Leatherettes.
Wait, what?
So the bad guys are coming up. And there's the guy with knives in his hands. And I think as Steve Coogan says, like, who are you guys? Mr. Grumpy? Mr. Grumpy and the Leatherettes? I wrote that. I laughed.
I don't even know if I heard that line.
Mr.
That's
Grumpy
actually
and
pretty
the Leatherettes. Because they're all wearing leather. It's very good joke.
I mean, it's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
You like the other guy that was in there for urinating?
I just like the joke of like, what are you in here for? Like, I don't know. That's funny to me. And then he does it again later. Like, as soon as he gets out.
What does he say? So there's a fourth guy, and he's locked up. And they're like, what are you in for? And he's like, I think he says urinating in public or something.
Yeah, something like that. But like, what I enjoy is he starts out screaming, right? Like, that's how we meet him. It's just like, wow, wow. And Coogan's like, what's he saying? And he's like, let me out. I'm bored, which is funny. like this guy is locked up, but he knows he's going to get out. Like, it's not like a serious thing. He's just like, I'm so bored. Let me out of the stockade. I appreciate it.
And that guy, like, reminded me, he must have been in something, because you could tell he was a real comedian.
Sure.
And so later when he gets out, he's gonna drive Phileas. He immediately tries to pull down his pants and tries to pee off of the cart into the street. And they immediately grab him and take him and put him back in jail.
Yeah, which is a great bit. It's very funny. I mean, because this guy, he's doing it all the time. It's not a one-off like, oh, well, we caught you peeing in public. You gotta get locked up. This guy, it's like a habitual, like he has to do it. It's his favorite thing. So weird.
So the big bad guy decides to let Jackie Chan out to fight him for an unknowable reason.
Sure.
So he starts to fight, and Jackie's like winning until he's losing because he gets knocked into a cart. Then the cart goes down a hill, and then this big guy stops it, and then 8 more ninjas appear, and then we find out that they're
it's got to be
10
9
tigers.
Right? Yeah, it's got to be 9 more ninjas because he's the 10th.
Well, the dude's there with Jackie, and then 8 more ninjas come.
Oh, I see. So you're saying there's already one there. I understand. I understand.
And dude wasn't dressed as a ninja.
Well, they don't have to be dressed as ninjas, Dan. Jeez.
Tony, I'm going to ask you a question.
I don't don't like where these go sometimes. All right, shoot.
Where did ninjas come from?
I can't answer that without sounding racist, but I think it's Japan.
Okay, how is that racist? You saying they come
I don't
from
know.
Japan?
Maybe it's racist. I don't know. Because again, I'm a Westerner. I don't know things about culture. Okay. So
Well,
maybe
if
me
you were,
assuming that ninjas come from Japan is racist. Maybe other Asian cultures can also have ninjas, and I don't know things.
what country are we in?
We are in China. I'm pretty sure, right?
Mainland China.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be any ninjas.
So what are they? Is China? See, I'm going to sound stupid again. Who are the samurai?
That's Japan too.
Okay, so they're both. Everything I know is Japan. Got it.
Japan's stuff has more sort of specific names that we're more used to. You know, we're used. China has all this huge history of martial arts and weapon use and all this stuff, but we don't just have those colorful names like samurai and ninja. I mean,
Sure.
maybe they
You
have
should.
them. We
Should.
should.
Great.
Maybe they have more stuff like that we just don't get. You know, whatever. Maybe it's Mr. Grumpy and the Leatherettes. Maybe it's
Leatherettes, man.
Leatherettes.
That's a good joke. I'm sorry I missed it. Maybe if Coogan delivered it better, I would remember it.
Ooh, burn.
Come at me, Steve. So the one thing I want to say about this scene is that it's a classic Jackie Chan scene, but Coogan drops the ball. Like the moment where he's like, on your right, and then Jackie looks right and swings at nothing, and then he gets hit, and he's like, stop helping me. That's like a classic Jackie Chan bit, and it doesn't work in this movie, and that upsets me greatly. That's all I want to say. I'm very disappointed.
Well, more importantly, Coogan just like shuts up at some point.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Which isn't necessarily his fault.
So we fight. So they win. They just sort of win.
They fight, and they win.
So 10 guys is able to beat, I don't know, 15, 18 guys, right?
Sure. Well, they're better.
Tony, what do they do once they defeat the bad guys?
Leave?
This is the thing that made me the most angry in the entire movie.
This made you the most angry. All right, tell me what happened.
Jackie Han reaches his hand down to the defeated main guy, Mr. Grumpy.
Yeah.
Helps him up and says, if you guys promise to leave and never come back, we good.
Because he's like an admiral guy, you know? He's a real nice gentleman.
Now, have you ever seen Seven Samurai, Tony? The movie?
No, I've seen The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise.
Good. The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. You're an idiot. I love you, Tony, but you're an idiot. I hate you.
You don't like Tom Cruise as a samurai?
As the Last Samurai? No, I'd have to kill myself before Tom Cruise could ever be a samurai. That is literally. I mean, maybe if he was. Oh, I can't say it. Dwarf samurai. I could say that.
I don't think you can. He'll get upset.
Okay, so he shakes his hand and says, "Good game. You lose. Just leave."
Maybe that's like a ninja thing, like a ninja code of honor. They're just like, all right, we good? I put the smack down on you. We good?
Let me ask you, when we're fighting with warlords and the warlords, whatever, we're not even going to do this. It's so terrible.
Oh my God.
So somebody says, they're like, oh, who are they? They're the 10 tigers. And then somebody says, then the legend was true.
That's Coogan. Coogan says it, and
why would he say that? Why would he say that?
I have no idea. I don't know what legend. I don't know why Coogan knows it. I don't know anything about that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
So they put the Buddha in a thing, and then everybody, including the white French woman, gets on her knees and bows to it.
Yeah, out of respect for other people's cultures and just kind of jumping on board.
And then they do a big Western clap. Hooray, clap. Yes. Western hooray, clap.
Great.
Do you think at the end of like big Buddhist ceremonies, they do a big hooray and do a Western clap?
I'd like to think so. Maybe a slow clap. Really, really make some impact out of it.
Oh, God. So Phileas is like, he's still angry at them. So he goes off on his own. And
yeah, which is weird.
Ends up in San Francisco. A lady instantly steals his money. And then he's stuck there with Rob Schneider in an alley.
Oh, boy. Mr. Schneider.
I did think he was terrible.
I mean, he's not terrible, but the scene is
just weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird.
So
I do enjoy. Enjoy's the wrong word. I feel kind of bad for liking it, but when Coogan goes out and gets punched, and then Schneider's like, "That's going to happen about half the time." Like that's a good joke.
I like that joke. That joke was good.
Here's my problem with the scene, Dan. Is what's coming up. I think you're probably getting there.
I don't know.
And maybe I can let you when they walk by.
Okay, so Jackie and the girl show up. They walk by. They kind of don't see him, and then he says, "Hey," and then they become.
She says it.
Oh, what does she say?
That's my problem. They're walking. Jackie keeps going, and she looks, and she's like, "Phileas," and I was like, "No, not a chance."
No, I don't understand.
What do you mean? No, she's not gonna. One, she's like,
she's so much anger.
A proper lady, right? She's walking down the street.
She's not a proper lady. She's
looking... Okay,
she's a harlot. She's a harlot.
She's going to be a famous artist. She's the best painter we've ever seen, hands down. But she's not going to notice this guy sleeping on the street like this with his head down and just be like, "Hey, that's our rich guy for sure."
True.
No, she's not. He should have been the one to yell out, and then they're like, "What?" But no, she somehow notices as they walk by. It's ridiculous.
So they become friends again. We cut back to England. The evil Asian lady's in England, and then she's going to end up in New York.
So fast, dude.
She travels so fast.
She is so quick.
So
she should have done the bet. She would have no problem.
They set up that if they can stop Phileas, then Broadbent can have jade mines or something.
I have absolutely no idea. Not a clue.
Now we're in a stagecoach. Stagecoach has a flat tire, and the Wright brothers show up.
Yeah. This was tough for me. This was tough.
And who are the Wright brothers, Tony?
Some of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah.
The Wilson brothers.
Yeah.
Luke and Owen. Great.
Yeah. Great actors.
Great actors. Very funny.
Comedians.
Very charming.
Yeah. Beautiful.
What a weird scene. What a weird scene. Here's the problem though. I still enjoy Owen when he like pulls aside and he's like, "Sorry for my brother. He's a moron." I like that. And then he's talking to Coogan, and Coogan's such a dull stick in the mud. And I'm like, I wish this whole movie was just Owen Wilson at this point.
Of course.
I don't know.
So now we have a train. They get on a train, and then we have like calendar pages and news pages and these weird gears that turn and twist. And then we're in New York City, and he's a hero.
Oh, before we get there, that's bizarre. The Wright brothers. It's funny that they use I like it.
Yeah.
Present him their plans for a flying machine.
Yes.
And he's like, "Eureka, you figured out the steering system or whatever."
Yeah.
And then very shortly later, he steals their plans and makes a working flying machine.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit to me. I'd be upset.
Yep.
Well,
more importantly, they would not have been in like Arizona or wherever it was.
No, for sure not. Not a chance.
They would not let anybody look at their stuff in a million years.
Again, he's some sort of super famous scientist guy, even though the people in the science community back home think he's a joke. Very confusing to me. Anyhow, he returns home. The entire city has signs and like, "Yay, we're cheering you on" for some unknown reason.
No, it's in New York City. We're still in New York City.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
how can we have more cities to go?
New York City, they're walking through the streets. Everybody's so excited about them, they're not going to let them go to the ship.
Oh, sure.
But this random police officer says...
No, this is what I'm talking about.
What?
They have signs.
Oh, yeah.
In New York, they have signs, and they're like, "Yay, you're the best. You're the best. Let's mob you."
But they won't let him go.
Yeah, they won't let him go finish the bet. That I think that's what they're cheering him on for.
Yeah. Instead, this random policeman's like, "I'll take you by secret route," and then takes them and dumps them into the bad Chinese people to fight them.
Yep.
So we have a big fight in the Statue of Liberty's head.
Oh, is that real?
I mean,
Is
is
that
that
really what
real?
they're doing? I
Yeah.
did not
You didn't put
realize
together
that the
that
giant.
the big
Nope,
head Lady Liberty from France. You didn't put that any of that together. The big book
nope,
that says Fourth
not
of
even a little bit.
July with the
Not even.
hand,
There
Statue of
wasn't even an
Liberty.
inkling, Dan. Not only was I never even thought like, oh, I wonder what that is. I just was like, I don't give a shit
There's
about
this
anything.
literal giant metal thing that they do all the fighting in, and they
Is
reference
it
a
metal
bunch.
or is it marble, Dan? You don't know.
So
My
Jackie
maracas.
Chan almost get crashed by a book,
Oh yeah. Oh, yep. Yeah.
and then he's like, uh, "We'll just take another ship." And so they get on another ship.
This made me so mad. Hold on. Don't skate over the ship,
What?
the ship switch, as we'll
Yeah,
call
the
it.
ship switch.
Shipgate 2022.
Yeah,
He's because Coogan is
yeah.
like, we missed the boat. And they're like, well, let's take another one. He's like, it'll never make it on time. And then Jackie's like, but we could try. And he's like, you're right. Let's do it. What was the point of that scene? Just say, let's take the next ship and see if we can beat it. I don't understand why there was a moment where like, it'll never work. Aren't you sure? Let's do it. Terrible writing. What a nonsense waste of time.
So somehow, with absolutely no money,
Yep.
they hire this giant ship to take them.
Yep.
And then the ship captain tears off his shirt and shows him where he's had both of his nipples bit off.
But guess what? Doesn't show us. I was very upset. If you're going to tell me that there's a visual gag, you better put it on the fucking screen, guys. Don't cut off the visual gag and just let me look at their reactions. No, I want to see it. I want to see this nippleless man.
So somehow they come under the impression that if they tear up the ship, in the original 50s movie, they tear up the ship and then throw it into the furnace to go faster.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But in this one, what they do is they tear up the ship to make an airplane and a gigantic ramp, and then
which takes more wood than the entire ship would have had, just for the record. I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to ask you a couple. Now we're going to talk about airplane manufacture.
Oh, don't worry. I got this one. I know all about aeronautics.
If you're making like a Wright Brothers kind of plane, what is the primary material you're using?
Wood. Fabric. Yes?
Yes, of course.
Nailed it.
Because you need a surface that can. I'm sure they varnish they put varnish or paint probably over the thing so it becomes more rigid, the canvas.
Obviously, yeah.
But yeah, of course, the wood is not the important thing; it's the canvas. So maybe if they had dragged down the sails and then had all this, but you're never going to have the equipment, the fine equipment that.
Yes.
What kind of equipment do you think the Wright brothers had as bicycle dudes?
I think sewing machines.
I
think other machines.
Specialty saws that could cut things very precisely.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Probably
maybe a
glues.
protractor.
Yeah, and they probably did have a way to make metal struts and string. It's just like whatever. I'm not even going to argue about it. So they make this plane.
You don't think these guys had all that on their ship for no reason? Come on, Dan.
No reason. And then they paint it to look like the most hideous bird ever.
That was the weirdest thing for me. I don't understand why they even have the paint.
Oh, there's no reason why they have the paint, but they have to have this stupid woman do something because she hasn't done anything except inspire him. So,
well, yeah, and I would question that myself.
So they shoot the plane off. The plane works perfectly. They're flying. They fly right to London because, of course. And there they are. They're in sights. Then the whole thing falls apart, and then Jackie Chan has to like hold a bunch of stuff, and things keep breaking because breaking.
Yeah, it's not funny.
And then two policemen are out there, and they point up and they look at him. Who are those two policemen?
You're gonna. Oh, fuck. Is it John Cleese,
who's a member of?
Oh, Monty Python. I don't know if you remember, a couple months ago, I thought his name was John Gleason, and we had a whole tiff about it.
I sort of remember that. It was horrible.
And is the other one Will Forte?
The other one was Will Forte. Okay, I don't even think. Maybe had half of a line. I don't even know if he had a line.
I don't know.
Nothing funny. They don't say anything funny.
No. Well, I mean, they make the joke that it's like, oh, people will believe anything. And then a bunch of people behind them are yelling, oh, there's a flying machine. And then Cleese goes, see what I mean? Or something like that. I mean, it's not good.
So they land and everybody cheers and they're like, everyone's like, you're heroes. And then all they have to do is get to this top of the steps, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But the people and the police and everybody turn on Phileas for a reason?
Well, because now they remember that they robbed the bank. Right? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, I guess.
Because Mr. Broadbent is like, oh, they robbed. We've got the thieves, and then everyone's like, yeah, we got the thieves.
So the Queen shows up, and then Broadbent says a bunch of hyper.
Why does the Queen show up?
No reason, but
okay.
Broadbent says all of these
right
hyper negative things about the Queen for no reason.
Yes. Like
in front of
to the point
thousands
where he needs
of
to be
people.
beheaded.
They would tear him apart.
Right.
If even now, where the Queen does not hold as much sway as she did 100 years ago, if you stood in the public square and said those things about the Queen, you would be dragged off and
immediately.
Immediately.
You wouldn't even be able to finish all of your insults. You would get maybe 2, 3 off, and then you're on the ground crying.
And then Broadbent says, she's standing right behind me, isn't she? And she is.
Why? That is one of the most common jokes that I've ever heard. It happens all the time. Why do people still think that's funny? Why can't we think of a different way to do it? I guess is my question.
Oh.
Everybody says the same line. Oh, they're right behind me, aren't they? Yes, we know. You know. Think of something different. Do better, Hollywood.
No. Be better.
Be better. Inspiring words.
So the Queen is there, and then it's Kathy Bates once again having a thing, and then they're all like, she has Broadbent dragged away or something. I don't even remember. Doesn't really matter. And then they're all like, oh, we lost. Tony, what are they playing for?
His new job, right? Or he
They're
loses
playing for
science.
Yeah. And who gets to decide who that person is?
Probably the Queen.
Yeah, the person that is standing there, who is on their side.
She's got 20 quid on him, bruh.
It's just literally the most absurd thing. It's like if you were playing for something else, okay, but you are literally playing for the Queen's favor, and the Queen has just told you you have her favor. You do not need to win the stupid bet. The bet means 100%. Nothing.
Especially because the other guy just got arrested anyhow. That position is open.
Yeah, it's kind of like Tony as an actor. If
I like where you're going,
if the thing he would win was a part in Harvey Weinstein's new movie, and then Harvey Weinstein's standing there, and Harvey's like, "I love you, Tony." He just put you in the movie then, right?
Why are we doing Weinstein?
I saw something.
I feel like I have to say no to the movie.
Exactly.
That's hard for me.
That's if
I could, it would be very hard for me to pass on a movie.
No, you're supposed to say, how is he offering me a movie if he's in jail? Isn't he in jail?
No, I believe he could still do it. He is also nefarious.
He's very nefarious. So basically, we find out the whole time thing where, of course, they went around the world the right direction, so they have another day, and all they have to do is run up the stairs, and then they win.
Now, Dan, is that how time zones work? That's a real question. I just want to make sure, because my note was, you're lucky I don't understand time zones.
Yeah, it does work.
Okay, cool. Great stuff, guys. Wonderful work.
So, and then Fix is there, and he's got a broken arm. Oh, actually, Fix said something that helped them. And then he falls down the stairs to his death again, and that is the last big laugh.
Yeah, Jackie grabs the cast, and the cast just slides right off.
Fix falls
and then
again
they all
to
laugh.
his death.
Here's what's crazy about it is Jackie grabs the cast, it falls off, he falls down the stairs, screams, Jackie turns to the other two, and they all just chuckle at it. Like, I don't understand.
It's hilarious that guy just got very hurt.
They are mean people. They're bullies. Before we wrap it up, I just have a real question, because I've never
Tony's final thoughts.
I don't remember ever reading it, or I know I didn't see the old one, and I haven't seen the new one. What is the bet? What is going on with your face? What's the actual bet in the original?
Money.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was just like bored white people
Yep.
betting on ridiculous things. Okay,
Just
cool.
guys in the club, 10,000 pounds or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that
just
to
money.
me makes way more sense than what happens in this movie.
And that's the whole thing. The whole thing is usually you don't want to motivate by money, but this thing is you're motivated by the bet of proving a thing.
Exactly.
And through the bet, the guy proves the thing, and he also becomes a better person and changes and learns. Did Phileas Fogg learn or change in any way through this movie?
No, not at all. In fact, none of them did. Well, except for maybe the lady who is no longer going to be a famous artist, and now she's just going to be like a housewife.
Yeah, that's true. She's going to be his housewife. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's ridiculous. This is a terrible movie.
This was a terrible movie.
But I believe I read Jackie Chan did the stunt choreography for it.
He did.
And God, I love him.
Yeah.
I think we mistreated him. That's what I think happened. I think we ruined his career with shitty movies. He deserved better.
Not you and I.
Oh, no, not you and I. If anything, we've, revitalized it just with this podcast here.
Tuxedo?
I think that Hollywood did him wrong and he deserved better.
J Love, he's destitute.
The tuxedo?
Yeah, tuxedo.
With Jennifer Love. Yeah.
J Love you.
Yeah.
So now it's the part of the show where we talk about something we like. I don't even know what this was called, but we were watching this documentary about there were a couple of Boeing airplane crashes in 2019.
Yes,
and it was all about all of that. And oh my God,
I don't think I want to watch that, Dan.
It is just corporate horribleness, and just you just watch the train wreck happening, and they just really dig into it. And wow, it's a good documentary. I fell asleep, so I got to go back and watch the last half an hour. But
hold on, I love the juxtaposition of you being like, it was a really good documentary. I fell asleep. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it, but boy, was it good.
I never make it through half the things I recommend on here. I never even made it.
Yeah, you're so cute.
And I did finish Reacher. Well, I fell asleep for like the last episode and a half of Reacher, and then I watched.
Of course you did.
Or like episodes half of 6 and 7, I fell asleep, but then I watched 8. Super interesting show. Way too long. Way too long. But I love this. I love that show because they always worried about where Reacher and all the other characters were going to spend the night.
Yeah.
Like every time, and we got to see almost every one of their meals.
100%. 100%.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned we didn't see them like when they had to urinate every time and doing their proper bowel movements, because
I feel like we did see him urinate once. I can't remember for sure, but I feel like we saw it. I do.
And the vengeance at the end wasn't as vengeance-y as I'd have hoped, but what are you gonna do?
The finale was my only very small letdown of the show. I wanted a little bit more of him beating the shit out of that last guy.
He needed to throw the guy into orbit, or there's just some things that needed to happen.
Well, maybe not that, Dan.
Like break some glass and then carve his initials into his.
There you go.
His
right
buttocks.
On the chest or something.
No buttocks.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Baseball bat up there so you can never poop normal again. Something like that. Something real.
You're not allowed to write the next season of Reacher. Okay,
I'm ready. I'm ready for the.
You're out.
Sign me up for the vengeance episode. I'll give you a vengeance.
God. It's gonna get dark real quick, guys.
Yes. Yes. Reacher dark.
Reacher.
So what do you got for us, Tony?
This is gonna be, I think, a bit of a surprise to. It was a bit of a surprise to me, and it might be a bit of a surprise to you. But Space Force season 2 is. Did you try it?
I hated the first one so badly.
I understand that. Season 2, very different and funny. Like it's become. Season 1 felt very politically driven to me and not all that well done. I thought there were a couple of fun moments, like the animals in space episode was fun. All of the politics seem to be gone, and now it's just kind of a goofy workplace comedy, which is what it should have been, I think, in the beginning. And I'm enjoying it. We've only watched a couple episodes of it, but it's funny. It should have been the first season.
I will try it because I am above things.
Give it. I would say just give the first episode a shot. Ben Schwartz is very funny as always. So
Okay, this for next week, I get to pick the
yes,
movie.
talk to me, Dan.
I had one. I was gonna go back. Well, I had this one, and then I found this other Adam Sandler movie, which I'm gonna do later.
Okay,
I
great.
really wanted to do this other Adam Sandler movie, a movie I'd never heard of, never even heard of, never heard of it, never heard of it.
I kind of want to go do research, but I also want to be surprised
Don't
when
do
you bring
research.
it up.
Don't.
Okay.
So I went back to this original one because we watched the trailers for both of them on Amazon.
Okay.
And
compare and contrast.
The Adam one, Shannon was like, "This looks like it might be okay." So I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna set that aside and instead go with the one." And it's going to be a star we haven't dealt with yet. I don't think we've ever had him on the show at all.
Blood, love it.
Your guy, Dax Shepard.
Well, there's no way that this is right because Dax has never done a bad movie in his entire life.
Never done. Dax Shepard. Has he done?
I thought Dax was in this movie for a second. Not to derail your thing. There was a moment where we panned over the crowd, and I could have sworn I saw Dax in the crowd. I rewound it and paused it. It's not. The guy was a little bit older, but he looked a lot like Dax. Anyhow, continue.
Well, we're gonna go to one of his comedy classics where he just does his comedic thing with Michael Pena right next to him.
Yes, I love this movie.
Chips. Yeah! You love this movie.
Dan, you don't understand. I love Dax Shepard. It goes Freddie Prinze Jr., Jensen Ackles, Dax Shepard. Those are my dudes. This is it's not his strongest.
It's not his strongest? Oh, wow. I'm stunned.
You know what you should watch? And I'll bring this up. I'll talk about more next week. Hit and Run. You should watch Hit and Run after you watch Chips. Hit and Run's really good. Chips there's some holes.
Now, have you watched his stupid wife's new Netflix show?
No, the woman across the street from the window in the bars.
I think you should have to watch that, Tony. If you love Dax Shepard, you should be watching that, right? You love
how does what I have to support his wife just because he's my best friend? You're right. I should do it.
Yeah, watch that movie. Watch that show.
I do like Kristen Bell.
Yeah, I think you should have to watch that show.
You know what? Fine. Okay. Here's what we'll do, Dan. You watch Hit and Run.
I will watch Hit and Run.
I will watch. I think I just lost that whole situation. How many episodes is this fucking thing? Like 8, 10 episodes?
8 episodes.
I'm
watching Hit and Run. You're watching at least 3 episodes of that show.
Okay. Oh, okay, good.
Because I want to hear you talk about that show, Kristen Bell.
Did you watch it?
No, Todd watched it, and
Todd. Okay, I don't want to hear anything. But Todd, not a fan.
Hated it so much.
All right, Todd, I'm coming for you. Stop disrespecting my best friends. I'm trying to manifest Dax and I being friends. I feel like if I say it enough times, it'll get around the globe and he'll figure it out.
You stand a better chance of being Freddie Prinze Jr.'s best friend.
Well, that's a given because I actually have a line to Freddie. I don't have a line to Dax yet, but I'm working on it.
You know, the other thing I watched, which I just remembered, Matthew Lillard.
Great.
And
underrated.
His best friends, his 4 best friends, started this high-end Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering equipment business.
What are you talking about right now?
What they do is they take Dungeons and Dragons and Magic stuff and then put out these deluxe editions of them.
I'm in.
And so he was doing a whole promotional thing on one of the Magic streams I watch sometimes, and he was talking all about it. It's very interesting.
I'm gonna have to find.
He's very funny, so you should.
I'm torn because I want to make fun of you for watching said streams.
Yeah,
but I'm also very interested in seeing that one. That's a tough thing for me
Matthew
to reconcile.
Lillard, your boy.
I love Matthew Lillard.
Making Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and I think they do a Dungeons and Dragons YouTube show too, where him and his friends play Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah.
Okay,
it's a big
I'm gonna
thing.
find it.
All these people making millions on playing Dungeons and Dragons online.
Not us.
Not us. Well, this has been Hey Watching with Dan and Tony. If you like what you see, subscribe, like button, leave us a comment. We're getting some very important comments of lately. And you should also check out Tony's new Wordle song.
Well, that's only because it was Dan's idea and he wants you guys to watch it. It was a good idea, Dan. It's a good idea. Nobody cares though.
Video came out great.
It came out okay. I have some issues with my effects, but I couldn't fix them. I am limited. I'll tell you that right now.
You mean your special effects?
Yeah, I mean, special is. I called it effects because it's not special. It's pretty ordinary effects. It's just my screen replace for the Wordle game didn't come out as good as I wanted.
Oh God, Jesus.
I spent days on it too. Like, I'm embarrassed to tell you how hard I worked on it, and that's the final result. I got to learn some new stuff, Dan.
Okay, well, it looked good to me, and I didn't notice anything.
Have you done your Wordle? It's on the YouTubes. It's on Instagrams, TikToks.
Tony,
go find it, guys.
Tony, check how's it doing on the TikTok?
It is doing not good at all.
What?
Not good at all. Nobody's seeing it. Nobody's seeing it. Nobody's liking it.
TikTok.
Yeah, it's game over. Game over.
Oh, well.
Well, come back for chips, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch it!